Salutations everyone, bringing you guys another Battlefield 4 gameplay here with the JS-2 personal defense weapon. My favorite personal defense weapon in the game, and I would say is the best one available. You know, I've tried out a few. The PP2000 isn't too bad. It's very much like it was in Battlefield 3, although not quite as powerful. But the JS-2 is, I think, above and beyond all the others in the category. So if you find yourself needing to choose a PDW, if you're in that engineer class, if you don't want to use a carbine or you're not very good with the shotgun at close quarters, go with the JS-2. It is the last PDW that you unlock in the game, outside of DLC, of course. I don't have the DLC because I'm poor, so I'm just rocking here the JS-2. I first started using it in the campaign, actually. For those who haven't played the campaign or don't know, there are these ammo boxes throughout each level in the campaign that allows you to select your loadout. So if you're going up against a tank, you can switch to anti-tank mines. If you have people, you know, far away on a rooftop, you can switch to a sniper rifle in one of your guns. Or if you're at close quarters, you can switch to something that's better suited for that. So, you know, so on and so forth. You could, you know, figure out what is needed. And if you haven't played the campaign, I would definitely say to go ahead and check it out. It's better than Battlefield 3's campaign and better than some of the other popular first-person shooter campaigns out there. So very good, very fun, and very replayable. Replayable more so than, you know, pretty much any first-person shooter in the past few years that I can think of off the top of my head. Especially those that are mostly multiplayer driven. But anyways, the JS-2 is a weapon that I found myself using a lot. I would use the SAR-21 with semi-automatic mode selected. For most cases, I would use a recon sniper rifle when it called for that. But whenever anything was close quarters, if I was, you know, going through a building or I was on a ship or a submarine or something, I would choose the JS-2. I'll put a red dot in that puppy. The red dot's really nice in the PDWs. They're not big and bulky and occlusive as they might be on some of the other weapons, which is why I would usually go with a Cobra or an ACOG or something of that sort on most, you know, assault rifles or carbines. PDW red dot is just nice, straight, simple, little flappy, thin little red dot right there. So it's very nice. I got the laser sights. Just what else am I going to use? Laser light combo. I don't know if I have that. I think I do. So this was fairly early on, so you still see me unlocking attachments with this gun, but it's something that I've used a lot. I really like it. Using it in burst fire mode, which is something that I would definitely recommend. It you get the most out of this weapon when you switch to burst fire mode, which I know sounds really weird, especially from PDW, which, you know, has strengths in close quarters, and usually they'll have very high fire rates and small magazines, so it, you know, it eats through it quickly, but it's really good at taking people out very fast at close quarters, especially for those who aren't comfortable with a shotgun. You know, finding yourself, you know, getting a lot of hit markers firing from the hip or whatnot. You're just not used to that kind of run and gun playstyle. That's fine. But with the JS-2, it has great stats all across the board. It has a 51 round capacity magazine, which is, I believe, second only to the P90. Which is fairly good, but, you know, is quite erratic and not something that is very consistent at medium range, and its damage is not as great as the JS-2. JS-2 with the burst fire, I mean, you don't have to worry about running out of ammo. You can hit it as fast as you want. Because it's in burst fire, you don't have to mitigate your shots. So, you know, in close to medium range, you're going to be at a huge advantage with this gun. The burst fire will mitigate the recoil, you'll be able to stay on target, and with the PDWs, you'll have a faster movement speed while aiming down sights. So, while with some weapons, you'll find yourself more erratic because of that faster movement speed, ADSing, stalking around corners with your sights up. The JS-2 is just fine with that burst fire mode engaged. It just makes it the best weapon that it really can be. So, I mean, obviously it's not going to be very good at long range, which you've probably noticed in this video. I have this Rex pistol as my backup. It has its uses, but it's mostly just a novelty. I just wish there were pistol-only servers. I just wish, you know, more stuff to do. Anyways, I digress. It's not going to be very good at long range, but none of the PDWs are. None of them are, so that's really going to be no surprise there. But it's still going to be better than most at, those, quasi long range shots that maybe it only takes a couple of bullets to take them down. JS-2 is going to be a better shot than most of your PDWs. So of course with PDW you'll be stuck to the engineer class because that's the only class you can use them with. So if you find yourself needing to use the engineer class, whether you're in a tank and you just need to keep on repairing it, or maybe you have an anti-tank class, which is usually what I find myself doing, especially in modes like Conquest or certain circumstances on Rush. I find myself using an engineer class a lot, and maybe you don't want to use a carbine. I know most people probably feel more comfortable with the carbine because they're more versatile than the PDWs, but if you find yourself wanting close quarter firepower as well as having the engineer class for whatever reason, the JS-2 is your best bet at taking out infantry with its high magazine capacity. It's even with the burst fire, it has a very fast fire rate. Without burst fire, it's still a better weapon than most, but like I said, to get the most out of this weapon, definitely stick with a burst fire. It just really, really helps, even in close quarters. And this thing is really good hip fire, even in the PDW class alone. I think it's one of the best, if not the best at hip fire. Obviously, I would recommend a laser sights. Close quarter maps are definitely best suited. I really like this map. Stick inside the buildings. Don't stray too far away to the outskirts where you could get picked off by snipers or someone with the with a DMR or something like that. Stick to the buildings and you'll be at a huge advantage. Maybe you'll get shotgunned every once in a while, but I find the not only of course is the this PDW more versatile than a shotgun, but at close quarters it's better at taking out multiple targets who are more, let's say, aware of their situations than you would find most of the time. Using a shotgun, you take out one or two guys, and some guy will be like, "Oh, someone's here," and they'll take you out. But with the JS-2, quicker fire rates, it'll put down more people faster if they are shooting back at you than if you're using a shotgun, and it's got a very good hip fire, like I said. So it's definitely something that you could just go into a room and just start spraying immediately. Although I definitely would recommend, of course, aiming down sights, even close quarters where you're still probably going to get a lot of hits. Just aiming down sights, you don't have to worry about, like with most weapons where you have a slower movement speed, slower ADS speed, where you feel like hip fire is really the way to go to get your sights and your bullets all over the place to take care of the enemies. With the PDW, you don't really have to worry about that because you get that faster movement while aiming down sights. So JS-2, very, very versatile. Very good. I think one of the best weapons at close quarters, especially if you're not good or used to or like using a shotgun. JS-2, definitely the way to go. Like I've said, burst fire, definitely something that you need to try out. I can't recommend this gun enough. It's the best PDW in my mind, and it's one of my favorite guns in the game as a whole. Very, very strong, especially for those close quarter maps or close quarter sections of maps. If you're, playing bigger game styles or game modes, the JS-2 will not let you down. It is a fantastic gun. I highly recommend it, and you should give it a try. So, leave your comments if you tried out this weapon setup. Let me know what you guys think. What PDWs do you like using, or guns that you would like to see me use in the future? And I will see you guys next time.